All right. Hello, kiddos. We are doing our first flipped classroom. I'm sure, will do more than just one flipped classroom. It's a great way to take notes because you have the ability to stop, pause me, rewind me, and fast forward me. So you can go back and reference these notes whenever you need to, which is awesome. So our first unit is going to cover what is science. You're probably thinking, I already know what science is. But I'm about to blow your mind wide open because I doubt that you know everything we're going to cover today. You do need to take notes today, so go ahead and get out your science binders. Write in your table of contents, what is science notes? And then just get to a fresh loose leaf paper, and I would write a heading at the top of the page as what is science? And we'll begin. Our first topic we're going to cover is the term science. So your first heading is science. Now, science is a systematic study of natural events and conditions. That is the definition as stated in your textbooks. So hopefully you're thinking right now what our hand up, stand up, hair up movement is that goes along with our vocabulary term science. But basically it studies the natural events and conditions that take place in our world. It includes both living and non-living things, which is great. Obviously, the living goes into life science, which we've already discussed in our reading. There are 3 domains of science. You should go, knew that, because you already knew that. We read about that the other day in our textbook. The 3 domains of science are life science, physical science, and earth science. Now let's talk more about life science. Life science is the study of all living things. That's like plants and animals. Anything living is under the category of life science. A great example of life science is identifying what a plant needs in order to survive. If a plant doesn't have water and doesn't have sunlight, it won't survive. That's life science at its core. Life science can also be called biology, aka stands for also known as. Let's move on to earth science. Earth science can also be called geology. It's the study of the surface or interior of Earth. This includes like rocks and minerals, plate tectonics, volcanoes. All of that is earth science. Anything that's happened on the surface or the interior of Earth, that's considered earth science. Finally, we have physical science. Now, physical science includes the subjects of physics and chemistry, and it studies non-living matter and energy. This includes force of motion, so studying Newton's laws of motion, that would be considered physical science. Anything with that matter and energy, electromagnetic, wavelength, all of that considered under physical science. All right, evidence. What is evidence? Well, evidence needs to be measurable. If it's not measurable, it cannot be considered evidence. Now, specifically, empirical evidence, which is one of our vocab words, so hopefully you're thinking about that motion or gesture we came up with for hands up, stand up, pair up. Empirical evidence includes observations and measurements, so both the observations and the measurements that can be gained through the senses. It is the basis for scientific evaluation, so empirical evidence is key to scientific evaluation. Now, let's talk about the characteristics every good scientist has. You gotta have 6 characteristics to be a good scientist. You gotta practice in careful observation. You gotta be curious. You gotta be creative. You gotta have logic. You gotta be skeptical. Now, you're probably thinking, what does skeptical really mean? It means that you don't just pick up and believe everything you hear. You're willing to put the research and effort into discovering if it's really true or not. You're willing to find the proof. That's a good skeptic. And then finally, you need objectivity. You need to be able to zone in and know what you got to learn for that day. Pseudoscience is another one of our vocabulary words, which we have already learned is a belief or practice that is based on incorrectly applied scientific methods. This is wrong. Pseudoscience is wrong. It's incorrectly applied scientific methods. And it may lack the ability to be tested because, in fact, it is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. So, that's pseudoscience. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What does every scientific investigation include? Well, many include an experiment. Now, all of these are hit and hone on our vocabulary terms. Experiment, observation, hypothesis, and data are all our vocabulary terms. So hopefully you're thinking, I already know this slide. Experiments an organized procedure to study something under controlled conditions. Observation is the process of obtaining information by using the senses. That's your eyes, your ears, your taste, your touch. Those are your senses. A hypothesis is a testable idea or explanation that leads to scientific investigation. And I lied to you because I don't think hypothesis is one of our vocab words that we've been working with. But it is good to know, and hopefully you're thinking, I already knew that. It is a testable idea or explanation that leads to a scientific investigation. And then data. Data is information gathered by observation or experimentation that can be used in calculating or reasoning. So hopefully you're flashing through those gestures in your head right now, thinking about what we used on Hands Up, Stand Up, Pair Up. Next, we got variables. Now, there's two types of variables. There are independent variables and there's dependent variables. Again, both of these were our vocab words. Now, an independent variable is the factor that is deliberately manipulated. Sorry, I didn't realize the is kind of cut off, but it's the factor that is deliberately manipulated. It is what is compared. What is compared in the experiment. Now, the dependent variable changes as a result of the manipulation of one or more independent variables, and it is what is measured in the experiment. So those are the two types of variables. We're going to stop here today with notes. That gives us the base of it. We will be doing a couple other notes next time in a different video, so go ahead and complete the rest of the interactive slideshow at this time, and make sure you have all of your notes in its entirety in your science binder. Thanks for watching!